Dear MGM, you may have saw my Dear Caesars video, and if you thought there wasn't going to be a Dear MGM video, then you are so wrong. Of course, there's going to be a Dear MGM video. Now, full disclosure, I actually like the way MGM is going, at least in terms of where they've been. I think the company's going in the right direction. They are investing in the right areas and divesting in the right areas. And overall, at least compared to the other major player in Las Vegas, I think the ecosystem is in a bit better shape. However, that doesn't mean they are immune from criticism. Nobody is perfect, and MGM certainly has their flaws. In this video, I'm going to talk about my wish list for MGM. Let's get right into it. Dear MGM, please promise me that you're not going to massacre the Cosmopolitan. Your track record for acquisitions and the overall customer experience afterwards has been absolutely dreadful, whether it's completely gutting and de-theming the Mirage or letting the Bellagio get close to dilapidation. Your track record of leaving hotels in a worse position than when you found them is absolutely legendary. Remember, you're buying the Cosmopolitan because it's different, because it's special, because it's doing things that you're not doing. You're also buying the Cosmopolitan because it was something you weren't able to create on your own organically, and plus it is wildly successful. It's a very simple way to look at it, but if you keep things the same at the Cosmopolitan, then you should expect the same awesome results. But if you decide to change things into something different, then you probably will get different results. If anything, you should not try to MGM the Cosmopolitan, you should try to Cosmopolitanize MGM. I implore you, MGM, please do not approach Cosmopolitan with your previous penny-wise business logic, but rather approach it from a large, macro, customer experience perspective. How can you make the experience greater instead of taking things away? Please, MGM, do not massacre the Cosmopolitan. Number 2, dear MGM, please stop milking your hotels. You have a propensity to let hotels age and get old, and to go on to life support and sometimes go to a point where they cannot be resuscitated. There is example after example after example. We can start with the Bellagio that went over 20 years without a remodel. This is one of the most iconic and best hotels in Las Vegas, one of the most supreme hotels in the world. Just until a few years ago, I've seen more Courtyards by Marriott that were more modern than the Bellagio. The Mirage went without any investment, modernization, or TLC for the better part of a decade. It finally got to the point where it fiscally just didn't make sense anymore to renovate it, so the Mirage was sold to another hotel organization, and they are going to completely change the property. It's business 101. I feel that you should be explaining this to me instead of the other way around, but it's so much easier to continually maintain a property at a much lower price than it is to let a property go and come in for a complete resuscitation. The best properties in Las Vegas, such as Wynn, are constantly and perpetually maintaining and investing in their hotels. Not only does it make better fiscal sense, it allows for a much more predictable and much more consistent customer experience. Number 3, dear MGM, please stop with the patchwork remodels. Wynn overhauled all the rooms in less than 2 years, and Venetian and Palazzo committed to an entire renovation within the scope of 1 year's time. All of your remodels seem to take forever, whether it's Bellagio, Aria, or New York, and this really creates confusion for the customer. Sometimes you go room by room, sometimes you go suite by suite, and it's very unpredictable. When we order a room online, we don't know which one we're going to get. Sometimes we are shown a picture of a remodel and we get an unremodeled room, or we book a standard room online, and when we get to the hotel, we realize there are multiple standard rooms, one that's been remodeled, one that hasn't been, and of course there are varying prices. Number 4, dear MGM, can you please stop changing MGM Rewards? It was M Life, now it's MGM Rewards, and if it was only a name change, I'd be totally fine with it, but it seems like this program is ever in flux. I've noticed that the benefits, the tier requirements, and pretty much the overall program is ever evolving. Now, in my last point, I talked about the importance of always modernizing and subtly changing your product to make sure it reflects the current customer taste, but yours changes way too much. Number 5, dear MGM, what does it take to get an upgrade? I got more comp offers back when I wasn't even a part of MGM Rewards or M Life than I do now as an MGM Rewards Gold member. I've spent over $10,000 at MGM in less than 6 months, and although that isn't an earth-shattering amount compared to a lot of these whales that come to Las Vegas, I still have qualified for Gold in a very short period of time. And please don't tell me it's not because I don't gamble enough. It's true I don't play slots or tables as much as I used to, but truly the margin on food and drinks and entertainment, which is where I spend the majority of my money now, is much greater than the thin margins on table games, especially blackjack. And lastly, dear MGM, please tell me who you are. I used to know who you were 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. Who are you today? You continue to sell your real estate investments, but invest in operations. You divest companies, but then reinvest in them on the back end with other consortiums. It's just really confusing as your strategy. And yes, I'm just a consumer. I may not be a stockholder, but I am a stakeholder. I do enjoy going to your hotels, but I would like some consistency and transparency so I know what to expect in the future. It seems like lately you are more interested in business operations and lowering transactional costs than you are in creating the customer experience and maintaining customer loyalty. I understand it is a business, and this is America where it's the free market. Us consumers have choice, and if we don't like it, we can go somewhere else. And I understand I'm just a stakeholder, not a stockholder. But I am a fan of your organization. I do enjoy coming to your hotels. It's just that the experience and your strategy have become a bit unpredictable in terms of where you're going. Dear MGM, please tell me who you are.